At this stage in his career, with everything he's achieved and everything he's earned and all the rest of it, like, why does he want to put himself back into that situation? Because, if he was nervous or gun shy going into this fight with Dubois, what's he going to be like going into the rematch?
Exactly, it's worse. Yeah, whatever was happening in his mind, because there's nothing wrong physically with him. He's not come out and said it anyway. He's going to be in a worse mental state going into that, because it's like it's just a rerunning what was a real bad experience for him. And other than the fact that we both probably agree that if he goes into an immediate rematch, it's going to be really hard for him to not get flattened again. Yeah. Do you actually think he deserves the rematch? Like, there's people like Joseph Parker who's really performed, beat Deontay Wilder, for example, and he's been hanging around for a while. He's looking good, Parker is. I mean, that's a fight you want to see. Obviously, the AJ Dubois rematch is still a big fight. People are going to want to see it. But does he deserve to be jumping straight back in there for another world title shot?
And those are the words of Carl Froch. And I think that when we do talk about Anthony Joshua, Matt Macklin did bring some good things to the forefront. I think he definitely made a good point. The point would be, what the hell does AJ, why is he boxing now? And it comes back to the question for me from AJ, I think because he likes to do it. I think he still has a desire to do it. Now, the mental thing, the physical thing, I don't think it's physical either. I think it is mental, but I think the same brain that may not be ready for him to fight ever again is the same brain that's telling him that he still has desire in the sport. So it's kind of, it's almost like someone battling with addiction. That same brain will tell you, well, hey, I want to go and, indulge myself in this substance or whatever. But then that same brain will tell you, no, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? That may be AJ's problem at this point. However, Carl did mention this, this again. He's mentioned this again with Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker deserves it. But like I told you guys today in my live, this morning when I went live with you guys, I told you that Turki Al-Sheikh had us thinking that this was somewhat of a tournament style. And it's completely the opposite. It's not what we thought it was. It's not a tournament style. It's basically, sure, for certain fighters, but it's not a tournament style in a fair sense. Why? Because Caballero, since he's flattened Frank Sanchez, or stopped him rather, we haven't seen from him since. Joseph Parker got the victory over the dangerous ass Big Bang Zilly Zhang and hasn't fought since. So we have these issues with Turki Al-Sheikh now with a portion of these fighters, that if you look at these fighters, Parker, Caballero, Sanchez, who else was there? Those guys, okay? Think of those guys for a second. They're not the most popular. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They're not the most popular of fighters. And I think because they're not, Turkey doesn't really put them in. Jarrell Miller is an exception because Jarrell Miller knows how to self-promote. He is entertaining. So sure, you want to see Jarrell Miller because he was the one that started this whole, he was introduced in the first, well, actually the second, because you did have Tyson Fury and Ngannou. But other than that, though, Jarrell Miller came on the scene and, does what he always does, gets everybody fired up, gets the people talking, gets the views in, gets the interest up. He did that. So yeah, he was coming back. But for and he lost. He lost to Daniel Dubois. But for everyone else, we haven't seen him. We've seen him fight once this year, and that's it. Bro, it's going to be November soon. Soon, in less than 2 weeks, we will be in the month of November. That's the 11th month. This year's almost over. So what does that tell you? This is not a tournament style. Okay? And I would love to see Parker take on Dubois. In fact, that could have been how things were matched up if it wasn't for Team Dubois allegedly not wanting to fight someone like Joseph Parker because he moved around too much, according to sources. Right? So, yeah, that could have been what we would have looked at. We could have been seeing Parker versus AJ. Why? Because Parker probably would have beat Daniel Dubois then. You know what I mean? That was that Daniel Dubois that nobody really knew. People were still side-eyeing like, I don't know about this dude because he just got stopped by a damn jab against Usyk, and Usyk ain't even known to be a big puncher. Right? So, you know, that Parker on that night that fought Deontay Wilder versus that Dubois that fought Jarrell Miller, that would have probably been a banger because Parker was a guy that did move and he was smaller. Now he's a little thicker and bigger. You know, I don't even necessarily agree with that, but I hope it works for him. But other than that, though, yes, he deserves that title shot. He deserves the opportunity. Joseph Parker does, the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world. Yes, he deserves it. And matter of fact, he's the interim WBO. So he may be on another wavelength, but nonetheless, you know, Turki Al-Sheikh, if he's running the show, he's running it like he wants to. But it's not a tournament style. So it's only going for the people that are being marketed. And the people that are being marketed are the people with a marquee value. So that's what I think about that. But as far as them questioning AJ, he's one of the guys that are being marketed. You know, but Matt Macklin, you know, to answer his question again, it's all about AJ, and that's what he wants to do. But if he does go out there and get flattened, it is really time for him to hang it up. Because, see, at that point, you've had 2 destructive losses to a guy. There's no coming back from that because people are not coming to see someone that gets folded, especially a guy, a specimen like AJ. They're not going to want to see that. You know what I mean? You don't want to see Anthony Joshua turn into damn David Price. You do not want to see him in his legacy and his career go down in shambles like that. But if it does, that's the confirmation for him to shut shit down. But you guys tell me what you think of Carl the Cobra Froch and Matt Macklin debating what in Hades does Anthony Joshua still want to fight for. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!